deals damage and then takes away their Thanks so much for checking out the video. Today I'm going to be discussing probably the biggest update that has come to Empires and Puzzles this year. And I know it seems kind of crazy for me to say that, but you guys don't understand, if this goes the way that they propose it, we are going to have a massive issue on our hands. We think that the power creep is steep now. This just brought it to a whole nother level. The reason being is that the season 1 costumes now have a second version. I know you're like, Anchor, that's cool and all. What you guys don't understand is they're trying to add a brand new bonus that just makes the heroes just absolutely insane to boot on it. They're going to try and get everybody to chase these brand new costumes for the season 1 second version, and then they're obviously going to now go ahead and add more costumes, and now every single hero is going to have its second costume, and so on and so on. It's getting pretty crazy. So guys, I'm going to dive right into this so we can take a look at exactly what is proposed. So you guys are familiar, this is Kelile, regular character here. This is the brand new updated costume that they have. Deals 220 damage to the target and nearby enemies. Target nearby enemies receive 183 burn damage over 3 turns. Caster absorbs 30% of the dealt burn damage as health. It's got pretty good stats still on the attack stats and everything like that. A character that I think could be good, but I don't think that it's going to be overwhelming. However, it is in 4-star, so she still could be pretty awesome. This brand new game was just launched today, and I've been keeping this sponsored video a secret, and I'm so excited to announce this extremely unique and well thought out game. Check the link in the description to download Bloodline Heroes of Lithas. New legends will be born, and I promise you've never played a game quite like this. It mixes the old school decision-making RPGs with insane graphics. This game lets you marry and pass on your bloodline to create a bunch of new various champions. The higher your champion's intimacy is, the more powerful your offspring are going to be. This is free to play and available for both Android and iOS. You get a free 4-star champions for free by logging in. To celebrate the release of this video, you can obtain the hair of the Dragonborn and the demigods for free, and I'd really appreciate if you guys take a little bit of time and download Bloodline Heroes of Lithas and give me your honest feedback. I played the game before it came out, and you will appreciate the uniqueness of this game while giving you a fulfilling experience. Download this game right now using the links in the description or scan the QR code. Also use my gift to obtain a random bloodline now with rewards worth $20. 1 champion token, 100,000 gold, and 100 diamonds. Use my promo code BLDHOL1 to claim rewards. Thanks again, Bloodline Heroes of Lithas. I'll see you on the battlefield. Next up, we have Elkanen. You guys have seen this. This is the regular Elkanen version. This is the brand new costume version that they have. 210 damage to all enemies. All enemies get minus 50% decrease of healing received for 3 turns. This effect can't be cleansed. So deals damage and then takes away their healing situation. This is the old costume, the first version of the costume of Elkanen, which is dealing damage to target and nearby enemies. So obviously with the now new ability here to be able to deal damage to all enemies at 210, character got quite a bit of a significant bump in everything. Next up, we have Khagan. We've seen this is the costume version of Khagan that we have. The brand new version, this is the regular version of Khagan, and the brand new version here, still at slow speed, deals 285 damage to all enemies. All allies receive a moderate amount of mana over 5 turns, and all allies get 40% defense for 5 turns. So nothing too wild on that one. Still at slow speed. You got kind of your picking and choosing of things. Probably won't crack into anything unless they have a situation set up to where you're running everything at fast speed. Next up, we have Domitia. This is the regular version. We've seen this before. This is the brand new version that they're proposing. It deals 335 damage to the target and nearby enemies. And the target nearby enemies get minus 54% defense against dark for 4 turns and deals extra damage against holy. So giving an elemental defensive down in Domitia, which the costume version, the first regular costume version just dealt damage. So Definitely a bit of a bump, being able to have elemental defensive down, not to mention it's a substantial amount of damage. I do have to let you guys know that I have left all of these heroes in the link in the description, so if you're wondering about getting screenshots of these, you can just go ahead and grab them from the link in the description that I've left below. Next up, we have Vivica. We've seen Vivica. We know what she does, recovering health for all allies and defense and a cleanse of all status ailments from all allies. This is the brand new second version. It's boosts health of all allies by 500%. Boost health can obviously exceed max health, and all enemies get minus 59% attack for 4 turns and dispels buffs from all enemies. So that's the costume version. This is the first version of the costume, which is recovering health and then giving the defensive down for 4 turns and dispelling buffs. So depending on the situation that you need, you can probably bounce around between the different Vivica costumes. Next up on our list, we have Obakan. We've seen this character quite a bit. Obviously dealing damage to the target and minor damage nearby enemies. Got a little bit of a buff counterattacking situation here. So this is the second version of the costume here. We now are in a situation where we're dealing 260 damage to the target and nearby enemies. Caster and nearby allies counterattack with 85% of the damage received for 3 turns, and caster and nearby allies regenerate a moderate amount of mana for each counterattack. This effect gets diminished for consecutive activations during the same turn. So we saw how annoying this was with the 4-star character. I'm missing it right off the top of my head right now. Being able to regenerate mana. Gosh, that red little guy, man, it's gonna bug me. Gosh, I'll think about it like 5 minutes into this video. But yeah, so we can see counterattacking, dealing damage to target nearby enemies, and also regenerating mana. So definitely a step in the right direction, not to mention dude is a fighter now. Next up, going through, we have Justice. We've seen this, dealing damage, giving accuracy decrease for 4 turns. And then this is the brand new costume version 2.0. Deals 270% damage to all enemies. The damage is increased by 45 per each dead enemy, and all enemies also get minus 40% accuracy for 3 turns, chance to miss also special skills. So they kind of mix the 2 different versions together. As you see, this is the first version of the costume where it deals damage and then it increases per dead ally. You miss out on the mana generation, but the new costume version is going to be giving the blind situation there. Next up on our list, we have Magni. We've seen this. This is the regular Magni version. Going into it, this is the brand new costume version where it's dealing 285% damage to the target and nearby enemies. The target and nearby enemies get minus 44% defense against special skills for 4 turns. So that's just against special skills. You got to keep that in mind. Whereas the original costume version would give the defensive down to target nearby enemies. So now the biggest difference is obviously going to be the fact that the new costume version is going to be dealing damage to both the target and nearby enemies, but it is only going to give the defensive down to special skills for 4 turns. I like the original Magni costume better. Obviously the extra damage to the side characters is pretty cool. It's going to be relevant depending on what you need it for. Next up on our list is going to be Isarnia, the original version here. We've seen this dealing damage to all enemies and then giving the defense down for 6 turns. This is the brand new version here, dealing 245 damage to all enemies. All enemies get minus 34% attack for 4 turns against nature characters. This status effect becomes uncleansable and lasts 2 turns longer, and then deals extra damage against fire. So being able to give extra defensive down, it's kind of interesting that if their nature, which is strong against her, it's going to make it last for 2 turns extra, but it's dealing the extra damage against fire. So kind of an interesting character there, versus this one is just dealing damage to all and then defensive down for 6 turns. So not a crazy difference there. Next up, we got Joon. Joon, we obviously know, deals damage to a single target and then gives the accuracy defense down. And then the brand new version here is going to deal 260 damage to the target and nearby enemies. Target nearby enemies receive burn damage, which makes absolutely no sense, for 3 turns. And then they're also getting the accuracy decrease for 3 turns, target nearby enemies. So obviously a major step in the right direction, dealing damage target nearby enemies. It's like a Drake Fong, but better, because you're also getting the burn damage. So Joon costume, that second version, obviously this is the first version, which is essentially the same thing as the original. Next up we have Leonidas. This is the regular version, obviously dealing damage, and then also can be reducing the mana and also healing. So this new version here, version 2.0, deals damage to all enemies at average speed 240, and then reduces the mana of all enemies by 10%. And all enemies get minus 34% defense for 3 turns. Against dark characters, the status effect becomes uncleansable, deals it for 2 turns longer. So this is kind of a situation that is similar to Guinevere that we saw, whereas it was like the reverse Guinevere situation, where she was just recovering health and adding a whole bunch of defense, whereas Leonidas at average speed is dealing damage to all enemies and then reducing mana, which is super annoying, and then also giving them defensive down for 3 turns, and then making it even worse for dark heroes, which makes it uncleansable. This might be surprisingly really good, and I could see definitely making its way in a Tink situation. Kind of the sleeper hero that I think is pretty great. And then obviously we know the regular Leonidas situation is going to be dealing damage to target nearby enemies and then giving the defensive down for 4 turns, as well as the dark enemies receiving the attack down. So definitely a little bit of a different situation, but I think the new costume is going to be pretty great. Now this is going to be probably the most ridiculous costume. I don't know what the heck they were thinking on this. So this is Quintus. We've seen this just dealing damage to all enemies. They have now officially made the worst hero in the game the best hero in the game, with just a slight change. Now what he does is deals 225 damage to all enemies, and all enemies automatically cast mindless attack on a random ally when mana is full at the start of the turn for 3 turns. So situation to where you automatically are casting mindless attack on everyone at slow speed, which is obviously faster than Alfriki and better than Alfriki, which did we ever think that they would ever release a character better than Alfriki? And certainly we didn't expect it on Quintus. So Quintus obviously got the biggest buff, and this character is just stupid and is going to be extremely annoying coming up. This was the costume version, which just dealt damage. This was the costume version which dealt damage and then also gave the attack down. So why I mentioned at the very end, this is extremely important. I want to show you guys Horghall. So this is the different versions of Horghall as well. Obviously we've seen this version to where it deals damage to all enemies and then giving the attack down for 6 turns. This is the brand new version here, dealing 250% damage to all enemies. All enemies get minus 31% attack and further 4% decrease every time they're hit for 4 turns, and all enemies are also going to receive the poison damage over 4 turns. What was really special about this, and what I want to show you guys, I went and I limit broken and I brought everything, leveled everything up. So this is kind of all 3 versions. So what you get, if you look here, you're going to be getting this costume bonus right here. This is if you max everything out, you're going to be getting attack bonus of 15%, defensive bonus of 15%, mana bonus of 10%, and a health bonus of 30%. This is disgusting. So look at the stats here, chat. We're at 2,408 health on a Horghall. Are you kidding? Defense is at 884, and then I'm just swiping through here. You can see the stats here. It's just gross. So this is the situation that we're in, guys. Let me know in the chat, what do you guys think about this brand new update? Is this something you're excited about? Is there something that you like? And again, make sure you check out the link in the description where you can download all of this, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys download Bloodline. I'd really appreciate it. It means a lot to me by you checking out all the new games that come out. and that honestly is what keeps me employed. So I really appreciate all the support. Make sure you check that out, and I'll see you on the next video.